Hi, this video we're going to discuss about the changes which we had with respect to the service part of it. So before we go ahead anything further, first of all, there is a new button which is laid out called a service, which will be having a list of all the services inside it. So when you go to the service, you can see the type of vessel company, what is the status, all those information can be seen here, and what status it is there. All those details can be seen with respect to the service. Now, all the stages of the service can be seen in individual buttons. So for example, if you want to see all the services which is confirmed, so that you wanted to schedule it, so you can see those items specifically there. Now apart from that, you have all services which will be showing all the service details inside it. Now going into the configuration part of it, you have two values which can be configured. Now we have made it as a configurable part where you can tell what is the type of service, whether it is a service, supply or inspection. Similarly, we also have the locations here. Now how, before we go ahead and demonstrate the whole part of it, we will just let you know how exactly it is working on the back end. So what we have tried to focus here is to avoid deduplication of entering the data in two different windows. So how this is going to work? It is going to work slightly like this. Whenever you create a quotation and when you confirm the quotation, along with that the service will be generated, whichever is regarding to that. So let's start with that. I'm not going into the basics which we have shown it to you last time with respect to the vessels and its transfer details and stuff like that. I'm not going into it. However, if you wanted, next session we can show you that in detail. So let's say that if you have a customer who is requesting for any kind of quotation, you can come down, you can select the customer. Now when you select the customer, you will have the option here whether to create a service for this request or not to. So I believe most of the cases you wanted a service, so we have made it as default value as yes. However, if there is any quotation which you're sending where you do not want to create a service, you can just uncheck this one. Now you can give your quotation expiration date here. You can also select what kind of a service it is. So it is a supply or it is service or it is a combination of both. However you want it, you can give it there. Now once you select the company, it will be always showing you that respective vessels which is under that company. So you can select that company. Now you can briefly describe what is the type of service that the customer is requested for. So let's put it like customer have issue with the communication system and needs to over. I believe the spelling is correct. No, overhauling. Yeah. So I'm just putting it as a description there. Now there might be any inquiry number or any reference to that, so you can give that ENQ whatever is the number. Now come down what is expected for this service, so you can type there whatever is the service for communication, whatever exactly you want to give it, and what would be your cost for that. So probably like if it is 15,000 or whatever the value it is, you can give that. I'm not focusing on the sales part of it, I'm more focusing on the service functionality which we discussed last time. So the moment you click on the save button, what this is going to do here is it is going to create a quotation in the system. And if you look at it, along with that, it has generated a service since you have put this check mark. So if you have not put this check mark, it will not create it. But if you have put this check mark, only by filling in the quotation, you have a service request which is auto generated here. And this is a link which you can click and see the detail. So when you look into it, you can see that there is a job card number which has been generated. What is the registered date and time for this? What company is it? What was the vessel it is representing to? Now the quotation number which you had inside your old system, and the type of service. Of course, we gave the service, so it came here automatically, and the description which you gave there has been come to the screen. Now, if you also notice it, you can see that the status of this service is in the draft stage. Now, if you want to see all these details anytime, you can also jump into your system, and you can see that that draft specific one is sitting down here. Now, what we can also do here is we can always go back to the sales quotation, and what the next option would happen here is you would be sending a copy of this quotation to the customer. So whenever you're sending this copy of this quotation to the customer, you can click on this button which tells that send by email, or whatever is your preferred method, and you can click on the send button. So when you click on the send button, basically the quotation status will be changed, and you can see that from quotation it changed into quotation sent. That means that you have already sent the quotation to the customer. Now when you do that, you can always come back and look into this one. You can see that this will also be getting that reference reflected over there. The next stage what we will have here is you will have customer who is confirming this order for you. So when you click on the confirm, the same thing will be changed on the service status, and it will tell that confirmed by the client. And now it is asking for more details, because once it is confirmed, the next thing is like you need to schedule employee onto the job, and you need to continue from there. So it is confirmed only by confirming one time on this quotation. It is also getting affected on the service as well. Now sometimes if you want to create a service request without having any of those information, that is like you don't want the information of a quotation, you also have a create function here where you can fill in all those details, and you can also create it from here as well. So this is also in case if you want explicit service to be created, you can always do that as well. So I'm just showing you that as well. Now the moment you confirm it, you can actually step into it, and you can start by seeing the same window where you can start by continuing with that. But let's go back to the one which we were working on. So when you go back to the quotation, you can when you go back to the service, you can see that there is a screen where it is asking for the schedule date. You can also select the employees in your company whom you want to work on this. Let's assume the case that you have multiple people working on it. You can definitely add those multiple people onto it. If there is any locations where the work is happening, we can add the locations here, and you can also have the phone numbers for the it's only numbers which it will accept. So once you have given this much information, you can save this one, and we have made these values mandatory. So without the employee or schedule date, you cannot click on the schedule. So you can click on the schedule for the scheduling purpose. So whenever it is scheduled, you can go to the scheduled services, and you can see the scheduled services only which is sitting down here. So when it is scheduled, and whenever you are having somebody who is working onto the case, you can click on this work in progress when the work is starting. So it will change the status into ongoing activities, and when it is ongoing, you have the provision to edit and add more details into it. So for example, what all information you want to upload it into it. So few things which you wanted to add into the system might be like what day, which employee, how many hours have they been working. So let's say that he worked on 7 hours on this day, and let's say that another one more employee was working on that day on probably like, now this is not mandatory, this is just optional, since you told that it would be better if you want to give those options here. So that is it. Now you have one more option here called as required invoicing. So if you want explicit invoicing, you can enable this, otherwise you can disable this one. Otherwise it is up to you how you want to. Now in this case, we have a quotation which has been sent to them for that purpose, so you don't need additional invoicing onto it. Now, once you're done with this one, you can save it, and whenever you are done with the job, at the same time you wanted to have an invoice to be triggered onto it, right? So that invoice can be easily triggered by just going into the quotation by the link which you see here. Just click on the link, and before we go there, I just want to show you a few things which we have ensured. So a couple of those things is like you can see what is the invoicing status, payment status, everything has been placed here. So let's say that if I want to create an invoice, I can just click on the quotation and I can click on the create invoice, and I can just click that button which tells create. So when I click on that invoice, I've just created an invoice, and when I go to my service, what I can do here is I can actually select that invoice, telling that this is an invoice for this specific case. So you can see that invoice is specific to that client. So there you go, you can see all those details here. You can save those information there. Now whatever is a value which you are saying there, it will be automatically populated. So you can see that 15,000 value has been populated here. However, if you also wanted to attach some documents, you have the facility here, which you had it in your old form. So we just took those things from there. At the same time, it is telling you what is the total value. It is telling you what is the status of it. Now, one more value which you have here is what kind of an option it is. So basically the status of invoiced payment is pending. So it is actually following up all those things from the other window automatically to the screen. Okay, now let us say that you have an update on the invoice. Let's go ahead and look into that. So whenever the invoice is there, and let's say the client has been making the payment and just confirming that invoice, and the payment has been registered. So when you register the payment, the status will be reflected on the invoice, and this will be reflected back to your service request as well. So if you go back and if you actually look here, you can see that it's fully paid. So you don't have to update what is the status on the service side. It will be taking up all those details automatically from there. Now, in case if you want to have any follow-ups, you can select the follow-up required. If not, once everything is done, you can just complete it, and you can close that one from there. So this will be taking care of all the information. In fact, I forgot to tell you something here. That is with respect to the deliveries as well. So if anything which is delivered, those items will also be 1 minute. Let me just take another one and show you that. So you can see that on the bottom of it. Okay, yeah, you can see that this is one automatic numbering which has been done for the job numbering, and the statuses, due date, everything is auto updated on the form. I think pretty much everything is covered out here. Please feel free to look into it and let me know if we have missed out anything. Now, just to tell you that we also have the other options of attachments and other functions here, which we have kept it, like if there is any service report scan copy to be attached, you can attach it. It also have the follow-ups if it is required or not required. Those things are also there. Just let us know if this is taking care of your requirement, and if something is missing out, just let us know, so we'll also look into that. Thank you very much and have a nice day.